Hello guys, welcome back to Defying Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star Part 339 based on novel. So let's start. In the original universe, in the sky above the endless remote ocean, in the primal secret region, which was the center of the human territory, water pillars condensed to form a being. It was Luo Feng, wearing a fiery cape. Another being stood in the space beside Luo Feng. It was Primal Chaos City Leader. How did it go? Primal City Leader asked. All 443 Universe Masters in the army, said Luo Feng, are dead. Primal City Leader's eyes gleamed, and he yelled, fantastic. Asterisk 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 asterisk. In the virtual world of Dream Ancestors' secret region in the demon race territory. There was a dimension in the virtual world, and a vast mountain was surrounded by clouds and mist. A giant silver snake swirled and flowed, living inside the mountain. Aside from that giant silver snake, many universe masters from the demon race lived in the endless mountain. There were also some universe masters from the subsidiary races of the demon race living alongside them. Although more than half of the universe masters had entered the world of Jinn, all of them had left a body or a godly power avatar in the original universe. With those bodies and godly power avatars, they could easily connect to the virtual world, and through the virtual world, they were able to communicate with Dream Demon Ancestor anytime they wanted. No need to worry, the tasks are not. 3 universe masters from the Demon Race Alliance had gathered together, and a flying beast with grey bones was talking. The other 2 universe masters were not from the demon race. Suddenly, that strange flying beast looked terrified. Then it disappeared from the virtual world. Why did it leave the virtual world without finishing its story? A colorful and breathtaking universe master from another race whispered. He then turned his head to the other side abruptly. Originally, there had been 2 universe masters listening to the universe master from the demon race, but now, the other universe master who had been listening had also disappeared. Why did they both disappear at the same time? The universe master realized that something was wrong. If only one of them had disappeared, it could have been explained by something urgent, which the individual couldn't explain immediately. However, 2 of them vanished at once without saying anything, so something strange must have happened. Demon Ancestor, the universe master yelled. Hua! A giant silver snake showed up out of the mist. It had its head raised and looked at the universe master as it said, Meng Ta Li. Why are you calling me? Demon Ancestor, just now, Meng Wn Master and another Universe Master were talking. Meng Wn Master was sharing some information about the world of Jinn. I have never entered it, so I was curious and was listening to him talk also. But Meng Wn Master and another Universe Master suddenly both disappeared from the virtual world without any signs. And they disappeared at the same time. It was clear by Meng Ta Li's eyes that he was worried. Disappeared at the same time? Without any signs? Dream Demon Ancestor bellowed as it realized something was wrong. Hong! Dream Demon Ancestor immediately started to inspect the entire mountain. However, after the inspection, Dream Demon Ancestor felt a horrifying coldness envelop its entire body. It was coldness that could freeze its soul. Not since Dream Demon Ancestor had first become a Universe Supreme Master had it been this frightened. There was no comparison, even when it had lost the battle between the 2 teams, it hadn't been so scared. Disappeared. All of them disappeared. Dream Demon Ancestor concluded. All the Universe Masters from the Demon Race Alliance had their consciousnesses connected to this mountain. But now, they were all gone. All of them. Only Dream Demon Ancestor and other 5 Universe Masters remained, none of whom had gone to the world of Jinn. Hong! A giant being appeared on the mountain. It was Shock Demon Ancestor. Dream Demon. Shock Demon Ancestor looked down and yelled, all the Universe Masters under me who entered the world of Jinn have disappeared. Same here. Dream Demon Ancestor couldn't have been more anxious. Shock Demon Ancestor was anxious as well. All the Universe Masters who went to the world of Jinn disappeared, and they all disappeared suddenly, without leaving a message. Those who didn't go to the world of Jinn are safe. Incredible. The United Forces Alliance was at a disadvantage, so many Universe Masters had gone to the world of Jinn, and most universe masters from the Demon Race Alliance had entered the world of Jinn. If all of them died, it would be a huge blow to the entire Demon Race Alliance. Such an event would be a real nightmare. Check. Let's check, Shock Demon Ancestor said. Dream Demon Ancestor immediately sent messages to the Universe Knights through the virtual world and asked them to check their teachers. After all, Universe Knights usually carried the keepsakes given by their teachers. Demon Ancestor, the keepsake I have has no owner now. My teacher died. Demon Ancestor, my teacher died. Demon Ancestor. Even before Dream Demon Ancestor had given an order, some Universe Knights had begun to contact him. They were losing their minds, realizing that all those Universe Masters had died. Without exception, all the Universe Masters who had disappeared from the virtual world had died. Dream Demon Ancestor and Shock Demon Ancestor felt as if great hammers were smashing their souls. They were upset, terrified, and incredulous. They looked at each other with eyes that were no longer peaceful. Instead, they were filled with trepidation. How? How come? Dream Demon Ancestor had lost its mind. How? Shock Demon Ancestor was also dazed. It was a huge blow, a shock like never before. Previously, the Demon Race had definitely been a pinnacle race in the original universe. They had originally boasted more than 20 Universe Masters from the Demon Race, as well as many Universe Masters of their subsidiary races. However, they now had only 4 Universe Masters from the Demon Race and 5 Universe Masters from their subsidiary races. They would have been considered prosperous before. But now, Shock Demon Ancestor raised his head and yelled. Howl. It was filled with anger and agony. The Demon Race had been building itself up for such a long time. Yet it lost all those Universe Masters at once. We shouldn't have let them enter the world of Jinn. We shouldn't have. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Dream Demon Ancestor and Shock Demon Ancestor weren't the only ones who had gone mad. Father God from the Automaton Race, Bug Empress, Devil Ancestor from the Prison Race, Holy Master from the Crystal Race, all the races in the Northern Territory Alliance, and the powers who had joined the United Forces Alliance, all of them, whether large or small, were trapped in the same nightmare. A nightmare they had never before experienced. Some of the powers had had 10 Universe Masters before. Now, they only had 1. Some had lost all of their Universe Masters. It was indeed a nightmare. The same thing happened to the Bug Race Alliance. Only 6 Universe Masters are left in the Bug Race Alliance. In the Northern Territory Alliance, more than 90 Universe Masters are dead. Even Star River Master. The same. The same for the Crystal Race and the Prison Race. As the races in the United Forces Alliance contacted each other, they found that all the powers had suffered the same fate. Dream Demon Ancestor and Shock Demon Ancestor felt a bit better now. In their opinion, all their Universe Masters who had entered the world of Jinn had died instantly, so there was no way that other powers had managed to stay safe. As they expected, many other powers had suffered from the same event. They were all from the United Forces Alliance, so it was very easy for them to communicate with each other internally. And then, they began to contact other powers in Universe Ocean. No. You mean lots of Universe Masters died? Nothing happened to us, the Skeleton Race. All our Universe Masters in the world of Jinn are safe. None of them died after entering the world of Jinn. Of course not. The world of Jinn is a fantastic world, and it's beyond our imagination. It's full of opportunities and valuables. Almost all the great beings in our race went in, and all those who entered the army are still alive. They'll soon start the tasks from the army, though. Haha. Many Universe Masters from East Emperor Holy Land entered the world of Jinn. Only a few of them died, and they died during selection for the army. What happened to you, Prison Race? Asterisk 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 asterisk. As news spread, the United Forces Alliance was stunned. They had all suffered from a large loss, so they had assumed that it was universal. If it had, indeed, been universal, and all the powers from Universe Ocean had suffered comparable losses, then comparatively, their status wouldn't be affected, the comparative power of their alliance would remain unchanged. They had been expecting the exact same thing to happen to all the other powers. However, Those other powers in Universe Ocean were all safe. No. To be more exact, they found one other power who had suffered the same fate. The same thing happened to you. Purple Moon Holy Land suffered a catastrophic attack in the world of Jinn. All of a sudden, all the Universe Masters from my Holy Land who had entered the world of Jinn died. Ah! Your Purple Moon Holy Land, too? The same happened to the races in our United Forces Alliance: Demon Race, Bug Race, Automaton Race, Prison Race, and Crystal Race. We are in despair. Everyone who entered the world of Jinn died. Everyone died. No one survived. Purple Moon Holy Land was close with the United Forces Alliance. After contacting others, they found that all the powers were still intact other than Purple Moon Holy Land and the United Forces Alliance. They all realized that there must be a secret behind this. If the world of Jinn had decided to annihilate all the outsiders, why had it let all the other powers go? Why did the world of Jinn only attack the great beings from the United Forces Alliance? After all the Universe Masters they had let in the army were fairly scattered. How had the world of Jinn located them? Nothing happened to the humans. None of the Universe Masters from the Human Alliance died. Purple Moon Holy Land and the United Forces Alliance quickly got the news, and they were infuriated. None of the Supreme Beings were fools. Purple Moon Holy Land and the United Forces Alliance had a common enemy, and it was Human Alliance. The humans stood to benefit the most from the United Forces Alliance and Purple Moon Holy Land being weakened. Plus, Purple Moon Holy Land had unsuccessfully tried to kill Luofeng in the world of Jinn before. Why would a true god of void space let Luofeng go easily? Everything pointed to the humans. Only the powers from Universe Ocean can accurately locate our Universe Masters among all those soldiers. It must have been the humans who schemed against us. Get lost. Purple Moon Ancestor's face seemed to be clouded by a layer of frost as he bellowed furiously at the crowd beneath him. The group of Universe Masters beneath him were all on their knees, shuddering in fear and overwhelmed by uneasiness. Purple Moon Alliance's loss this time around was massive. As many as half the entire force of Universe Masters had entered the world of Jinn, and all had perished. The number of Universe Masters left within the Purple Moon Holy Land still alive was down to less than 100. Even if the Universe Masters-to-be all achieved breakthroughs successively, the number of Universe Masters would barely break 100. But, speaking of Universe Masters-to-be, there truly was not a single one. Ancestor, are we still going to the world of Jinn? Of all the numerous Universe Masters who were still on their knees beneath him, none had left, but there were still some who had to ask him this question, as they were filled with great dissatisfaction. Purple Moon Ancestor looked down at them. His expression was increasingly awful, and he was silent for a long while before saying, "The newly promoted Universe Masters will go to the world of Jinn, and you all shall not reveal your identities as members of the Purple Moon Holy Land." The newly promoted Universe Masters, feeling somewhat delighted at the decision, responded, "Understood." They had never set foot out of Purple Moon Holy Land, but this time, because a great number of Universe Masters had lost their lives, they, as Universe Masters-to-be, had been able to achieve breakthroughs. So long as they could change their appearances and not take up symbolic forms like 3 heads and 8 arms or double faces with 4 arms, the other groups of powers within Universe Ocean would definitely not be able to guess their true identities. Once they had infiltrated the world of Jinn, if great beings from the other powerful groups within Universe Ocean saw them, they would probably think of them as natives of the world of Jinn. Take your leave. Purple Moon Ancestor's voice was getting more and more hostile. Hua. A group of Universe Masters finally disappeared and left. Only Purple Moon Ancestor was left in the hall. As arrogant as he was, he had been forced to tell them not to reveal their identities as members of the Purple Moon Holy Land. He must have felt extremely ashamed and insulted. Milky Way Horde leader Luofeng. Purple Moon Ancestor gritted his teeth. He was furious. He was unwilling. But so what? This was an act of destructive revenge, and he was aware that, other than the humans, he simply could not think of any other top power that would do such a thing. I may not be able to do anything to you, but with the birth of the Sector Beast this time around, I don't think you will not be able to make it out alive. Purple Moon Ancestor gritted his teeth. Every time the thought of a sector beast came to mind, he grew more agitated because a sector beast was a major threat to him. Purple Moon Ancestor tilted his head back and roared. Ah, ah, ah. How long had it been? Just how long had it been since he had felt so helpless? Yet no matter how angry Purple Moon Ancestor was, there was nothing he could do. There was no way he could kill Luo Feng. Even if he wanted to make use of the world of Jin to kill him, the moment he failed, all the universe masters under him command that had been brought into the world of Jin would perish. Without all those universe masters, he was unable to do anything to Luo Feng. Asterisk 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 asterisk. If Purple Moon Ancestor was merely furious and unwilling, then the various races from the United Forces Alliance from the primal universe were filled with endless enmity and hatred. Sister. An extraordinarily beautiful young girl, with butterfly wings that were partially transparent, stood amidst the void space. She wore a pained expression as though she was suffering, and the eyes beneath her delicate brows seemed to contain great agony and sadness. Various scenes were replaying in her mind as she recalled growing up with her sister. Her sister had been guiding and protecting her all this while. Her sister was an extraordinary talent and had become a noble universe master of the Bug Clan. Under her sister's help and guidance, after many long years, she had finally become a universe knight. Those years had given rise to a relationship between the sisters that transcended all else, including her life. Her sister was the most important person in her life. The extraordinarily beautiful young girl raised her head and let out a piercing scream. No. Then her face became contorted. Fiery hatred blazed in her eyes as she said in a hoarse voice laden with endless hatred, Humans, I want you all dead. Dead. A faint blue light suddenly appeared around the space surrounding the beautiful girl, enveloping her. In an instant, she was being transported away. 3 minutes later, in the human territory, the towering Bug Clan mother nest hung suspended in space. Around it, many Bug soldiers appeared. A wave of anger was transmitted from the mother nest. Go out there and kill all the humans. Various bizarre noises were heard as numerous Bug soldiers roared and yelled while speeding across the vast void space. Oh! Roar! They were charging toward the faraway life planet while the mother nest had already vanished with a single teleportation. It teleported like a flash of lightning to reach as far as 10,000 light-years away. Go and kill all the humans. The Bug Clan mother nest was still giving out the order. Great batches of Bug soldiers continued to roar as they charged out. This Bug Clan mother nest was teleporting like crazy. With every 10,000 light-years span it teleported across, it released a large batch of Bug soldiers. They were largely from the universe level. A small number were from the domain level, and a few were sector lords. There was not a single undying being. Kill all the humans. My children, go out there and kill. The mother nest moved erratically while releasing countless Bugs warriors. To a mother queen who was a universe knight herself, creating billions of universe-level Bug soldiers was nothing difficult. All of them were at the universe level and more than enough to massacre countless planets. Asterisk 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 asterisk. At the 6th minute after the Bug Clan's mother queen had started the rampage in the human territory, the hideous mother nest came to a halt and remained unmoving in the middle of space. Everything quietened down, and around it, the numerous Bug soldiers suspended in the air also stopped. Hua! A lone figure walked over from afar. A piercing, hysterical voice was heard from the Bug Clan mother nest. Milky Way Horde leader. Luo Feng walked over leisurely, shaking his head. He whispered with a sigh, "Why go to such lengths?" He pointed into the distance. Pang! Far away, a part of void space suddenly shrank, then expanded. Right away, that part of space was annihilated. The lofty mother nest and the countless Bug warriors previously occupying that part of space were all reduced to nothingness. Luo Feng shook his head and sighed. The Bug soldiers' universe Knight Mother Queen had entered a region that was within Ganwu universe. Once Luo Feng had received information transmitted over from the virtual universe, he had immediately made use of God Country transportation and a couple of teleportations to rush over. As that Bug Clan mother nest was constantly teleporting and changing direction, Luo Feng only managed to catch up with it at the 6th minute after the start of the rampage upon entering the human territory. Just one revenge. A universe knight annihilated. Is this what we call hatred? Luo Feng sighed gently. Then, with a single stride, he vanished into the shadows of the starry sky. All was silent, and everything was shrouded in darkness. It was as though nothing had happened. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Milky Way Holy Land. Luo Feng returned to a cluster of undulating palaces. Horde leader. The 3 universe knights at the forefront bowed and greeted with unparalleled reverence. Out of the 3, a tall and sturdy universe knight with green tentacles said, "We have teleported repeatedly and killed all the bugs warriors we found in various places who were in the midst of their rampage. Many of these bug soldiers did not even make it in time to descend on the planet before we killed them. It's just that, there were still 369 life planets where all the humans were killed. Of these 369, there were 102 where the very planets themselves were completely shattered." Luo Feng nodded. In his heart, he could not help sighing. The total population of humans on over 300 life planets most likely numbered in the billions. Yet, in a moment as fleeting as the blink of the eye, all of them were dead. From the perspective of the entire human race, ordinary humans were able to multiply in numbers generation after generation. Overall, even if many were killed, this was nothing much at all. But they were, after all, still life forms that were full of vitality. Among them, there might have been potential talents that could have risen to be the cream of the crop, perhaps even people like Rong Jun, or even an existence like Luo Feng could have been born, although that was highly unlikely. But now, all of these people were merely lifeless corpses. Revenge for much too many, Luo Feng said to himself. Those who bear hatred for my human race. There are simply too many of them. In recent months, the various groups of top powers within the United Forces Alliance had lost a great many universe masters. Some of them had been from the pinnacle races, but most were from the common pool of races at large. The more powerful races would normally have, at most, 1 or 2 universe masters, and these universe masters would be the leaders of their races. To the universe knights of those races, these universe masters were like their parents and mentors. Some could no longer contain the hatred in their hearts. Right away, they had charged forth to take their revenge for the loss of their mentors. There were also others who had decided to put up with the burning hatred. They bore it as best they could, for the sake of their race. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Fighting the humans. How can we fight them? Our Northern Territory Alliance is already so weak, and our Alliance Master has long abandoned us. Now, the various races within our alliance are so weak. After adding up all the Universe Masters, we are still not a match for that one single Milky Way Horde leader. You still want to fight? On an ordinary, desolate planet, various godla-powered avatars had gathered for a discussion. They did not dare to come in their original bodies, as they were afraid that they would be killed by the humans all at once. This great hatred, how can we not take revenge? The hatred is certainly great. 2 of my brothers were killed. They had been my company for an eternity, and together, we led our race in establishing our footing in this vast universe. Now, they are both dead. They were my most important family member. My most valued companions. And how I wish I could charge in to where the humans are and massacre them all. But what would be the outcome? If we were to enter important grounds like the Primal Secret Region or Milky Way Holy Land, then not only will there be nothing we can kill, but we will only go there to die. If all I can do is kill ordinary humans, after a couple of decades, another generation will emerge once again. They will not be affected at all. If we go now, it will only serve the purpose of venting our moment of hatred. We need to live, and we must live for our race. But I am not willing to. I am overflowing with resentment. You are resentful, just like the Chu Nong race, who had all their universe masters wiped out. They are all rushing to escape for dear lives now. They needed to ensure that their race could survive, but their resentment was far greater. What could they have possibly done? Back when we were still strong, the humans were already exerting their influence over us. What about now? The various minor races were already so afraid that they had left the United Forces Alliance. How many universe masters left behind would dare to persevere in their desire to fight the humans? For those supreme masters who were lone travelers, the moment they saw how the situation could be played to their disadvantage, one after the other, they left our United Forces Alliance. As for the few universe masters who were resolute enough to stay behind, the moment the humans sent over an army large enough, the impact of that willpower was strong enough to cast down a great number of them. How many could stand strong in a fight against the humans? The godly-powered avatars of the surviving universe masters of the Northern Territory Alliance all fell silent. How miserable and dreary their situation had become. Various minor races had left the United Forces Alliance because they simply could not go through another devastating loss. Universe masters who were lone travelers had also left because, to them, the future was bleak and hopeless. Who remained? The Bug Clan, the Demons, and the Automaton race. Yet who would dare to fight the humans again? Who would dare? Even if our hatred was larger than life, what more could we do? I don't know how many other races bear hatred for the humans, but it is fated that within the entire primal universe, the humans will be the race that truly dominates. No one will be able to stand in their path. No one at all. Like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.